Hey everyone, and welcome back to the Fortitude Fix. I hope you're well. My name is DaShanna and this is Vlogmas day 15. So this is the end of the day. You can see the lighting is messed up. My ring light is actually broken, so I'm not even trying to front like this is the middle of the day. This is the evening, and as y'all know, it is getting dark a lot earlier. But in today's video, I wanted to make this super quick, but I wanted to process out loud in case anyone else is dealing with things of a similar nature. I recently laid eyes on the death certificate for my brother and my biological mom today for the first and second time, respectively. I've seen my birth mom's death certificate one time, and it was years ago. I was still in college, so wow, it probably over 10 years at this point. And then I had never seen my brother's death certificate. So if you are new here, you don't know my story, essentially my biological mom passed away when I was 2, and my aunt slash godmother became my legal guardian, and she's the woman who raised me my entire life, and she actually passed away in 2021. I have been on this kick of trying to find more about my story that I never knew, and I kid you not, it's like every couple of years I learn something huge about my story. It's kind of sparked this bug, if you will, for me to kind of learn even more before the people that know are no longer around to tell me. My mom, who died in 2021, she is the one who told me a lot of my story and what happened before my biological mom passed away and what my life was like before I came to live with her full time. Now that she's gone, I feel like I have to remember everything she told me, or else I'm gonna forget, and I'm not gonna be able to share that with my children or share that with my husband or anyone, my grandchildren. Like, I just want to make sure that I know my family history, and there's still so many questions I have. With that, I looked at my brother's death certificate for the first time, and I looked at my biological mom's for the second time in my life. And what I will say is that immediately after, I was a little taken, like I didn't have breath. I felt very much like I was in a cloud and I couldn't breathe, even though obviously I was breathing. It wasn't like a panic attack or anything like that, but it just felt very, I'm out of my body, if that makes sense. But I did take a look, and while I was looking and reading, my uncle actually scanned them to me. So this is my uncle on my biological mom's side. So he is the only relative that I have on my biological mom's side, and he has been instrumental throughout my life. He's one of the best men that I know, and he's literally, like, he's had my heart since I was a child. And honestly, he's the one who met my husband before he was my husband, before my actual dad did. I love him to pieces if he ever sees this, but like, that's my uncle, and that is my heart. He sent me the scanned copies. My brother's was redacted in some areas, which is fine because the information that was redacted I don't really care about, but I was able to see kind of the cause of death and what led to his death. And so he actually passed away on my birthday, on my 13th birthday. And so to see it kind of listed as a date that comes up more than once on the certificate, to see the time of death, because you know, it's just stuff that I just never really knew, or I don't remember knowing. And looking at that document for the first time, I saw our mom's name listed as the mom, and I saw his dad's name listed. We have different dads, but I see that there's like an address listed for him. I know and love my brother, and I remember a lot about him. It was just really interesting to see his death certificate. He did have muscular dystrophy, and he was wheelchair bound for the majority of his life. He was walking, I think, until about like age 11 or so when I came along. And then I just remember him being in a wheelchair my whole life. You know, so that was listed, and just all the details and the specifics that I didn't know was listed, and it's just a whirlwind for me. this idea of like not fully knowing everything is like, whoa, like or finding out new information in your mid-30s. I'm just like, wow. So that was really interesting. You know, I remember his passing like it was yesterday. It was my birthday and I was on my way to school, and I was really excited because on your birthday you get to bring treats if you want to share with the class, and it was my turn. I had a birthday twin at my school, and so my class would get double treats because it was the one day of year that we both like that there were 2 birthdays, and so they got different treats. So I remember coordinating to make sure we didn't bring the same thing every year, and I was really excited. And my mom, who raised me, was driving me to school I think that day, and she kind of looked back. She kept looking in her rearview mirror at me, and I was just like, what? And then I remember hearing the house phone ring in the middle of the night, but I'm like, I'm asleep. I don't know what time it is really. When she started looking at me in the rearview mirror, I was like, there's something she's not telling me. And then I was like, wait, she got a phone call as it related to the phone call. And then she told me that my brother had passed away. You know, I still went to school that day, and I don't remember that day at all, but I just remember that moment and kind of like my life standing still in that way of like, my brother, like that's my brother. I love my brother. He loved me, and that was my love. Mine was my brother, you know? So to see his death certificate was a lot. Now let's transition over to my mom. My biological mom. I saw her death certificate once because my mom, the woman who raised me, had a copy, and she showed it to me well after I became an adult. Like I was in college, about to graduate, probably the first time that I saw it, and she showed it to me. And I can't ask her, but I think she didn't show that to me either A, because she didn't have it, you know, maybe, or 2, she wanted me to be older to read and to see what had happened. And you know, I think I've said this before on my channel, you know, my addiction, you know, was present, you know, in the lives of both of my parents and my biological parents. And just to see kind of like her cause of death listed and all of the information that I guess I never had known the specifics of, to see it specifically laid out was a lot for me to take on, especially now being a parent. I'm a mother of 2, just like my mother was a mother of 2 before she died. And it's just a lot going on in my brain about the what, the why, the how, all the unanswered questions. And you know, my brother at the time of his passing was 23, and my biological mom at the time of her passing was 33. I just can't imagine. Like, I have 2 kids just like she did. None of it was redacted on her certificate of death, but it was a 2-parter, which was really interesting. I saw that it was like page 1 of 2, and then it was like page 2 of 2. It's just a lot to kind of grapple with and to think about and to wonder what her life was like. You know, there's no picture of her and I together really. There's a picture that I've seen where you can see me and her legs, because I'm in a stroller, and so the picture is of me, but you see her legs, but there's no picture of like her face and my face, or her holding me, or anything like that. And it just feels like she's such a distant person, but she was a mother, she was a woman, she lived in this world, she had a love, you know, she had been married before. Just thinking about the life that she lived and who she was as a person, I don't know a ton about, but I'm curious and I want to know more. I think when I was younger, I didn't really want to know more, and I didn't care to know more, and I went through kind of like the stages of grief as I grew up. You know, it was never a secret, it was never anything that was hidden from me, but I think when you get to a certain age, you start to kind of think, and you start to really have it sink in and figure out what that means, and ask questions and be curious and be upset and be angry and all the feelings. So I feel like I've done all of that, but I guess I'm more at this stage of life interested in her humanity, and not just the things that she did, and not just the things that, you know, I would have chosen to do differently, but kind of what got her there, and what was her life like, you know, prior to becoming a mother, and prior to having me, and prior to all of the things that she dealt with leading up to her passing. I don't know, I just wanted to kind of get on here and just word vomit, because this is a lot. I wanted to just kind of process out loud, but can you imagine just not knowing certain things and then seeing it? Because you don't know what you don't know, and you don't know what questions to ask or not to ask, and if anyone remembers, and how people would feel if I ask, and I don't know, but it's my story, and I just believe in storytelling so much for reasons like this, where you just don't know, and those stories can die if we don't continue to tell them or talk about it. And so, yeah, just keep me in your prayers. Yeah, that's all I can ask. That's it. That's the vlog. That's day 15. Thank you all so much for joining me. Please go ahead and give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to this channel. It really does help me out a ton. It helps my channel out a lot when you interact. Go ahead and leave me a comment down below. Let me know, how did you feel listening to my story? How, you know, do you know anyone in a similar situation? Do you have any like loving advice for me? Or just let me know you're praying for me. I would appreciate it. I will see you tomorrow in tomorrow's vlog. It's Vlogmas day 16. Woo! My sister-in-law is coming into town, and we're gonna be doing some oxtails and some family stuff. And so I'm really excited to try to vlog that. Obviously, I can show my family if they are interested in it. And if not, it'll just be me and maybe my husband and the kids and the food. But I can't wait to see you all tomorrow. Thank you all so much for sticking around and being here. I look forward to what's to come. I'll keep you posted. All right, remember to always fill your cup. Bye.